start with Michael and then Justin.
So we've asked two coaches about whether it's beneficial that New Mexico is playing a game before you guys, and one of them said definitely yes, because you get to see them. The other one, which was Coach Baber, said no, because you make your most improvement from week 1 to week 2. Which side of that coin do you fall on?
So who said yes?
Coach Viney, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I would prefer to have it for a couple of reasons. This is a new staff, that's come from all over the country. So now when you got a new staff to deal with, you got to go find the histories of where's the coordinator been. You got to go find where's the D-line. You got to look into the staff to see what philosophies they have been. You got to get a feel for the personnel, what can match it. So, I think it's good that we kind of see where they're at when it's a brand new staff. So I like the fact that there is a game.
Do you sit in front of the TV on Saturday and watch the game, or you just wait for the actual coach's phone to?
Yeah, I think I haven't looked at our Saturday schedule. I don't know if it will allow us to put our feet up. I think we'll. But if we do, we always, every university has a TV copy. If the game is on TV, the video crew will copy it, and then we'll wait for the game that will come in on Sunday to break it down.
Justin and Troy.
What's the story of Lance Kennelly? Did you recruit him to Stanford?
No, I was not personally involved in the recruitment, but we did evaluate him at Stanford. Yeah.
And then what has he brought to your guys' defensive line?
Well, I think experience, him being part of, 5 years and moving on. So there's some maturity there. He's lined up and, against some good football teams. So he's been there. Some of the language is very similar from when we were at Stanford. So there's a comfort zone there. And so because of that, it's a quicker fix rather than bringing in an incoming freshman. And when you're talking about a D-line or the front, I think that's where having maturity, for a true freshman to play in the front, it's not an easy task because the physical side is a big get. So many times a skill player has a better chance in playing early because the physical nature isn't as big. Can he learn concepts? Can he learn if he can run fast and jump high? So he's been a nice addition to us.
Troy and then Jason.
Kind of going on that defensive line, top right there, you guys clearly brought in a lot of guys after spring football.
Yeah.
To show up some ends. How do you think they've added to the group and just the depth-wise that you guys were from spring to this point now at the end of training camp?
Well, we had to bring in quite a few because we lost quite a few pieces. And, just as you look at it, that is just a tough place to find numbers because there's just not a lot of people walking around planet Earth that are 300 pounds that can run, So I think we did a great job of evaluating there, not only the physical profile, but the fit or cultural profile on how we practice. So, and we have changed a little bit with some of our techniques up front. So I think we've done a good job. I'm excited to watch these guys play. I think our front has really has been a pleasant surprise for me.
Jason and Michael.
Is this defense where you wanted it to be at this point in camp? Like, are you happy with where they are in their progress?
Yes, I am. I'm happier when I see Stooks, Bobo, Dalton, Gunner, all out there with the guys up front. But I'm like everybody else. I'm excited to watch them play.
Michael and then Troy.
The head coach of the team up north said the other day that he felt like he had 22 viable defensive players. What number would you put on your defense? How many guys do you trust and feel comfortable with?
Oh gosh, I haven't put a pencil to that, so. I'll just say this. I think we got enough to line up and win.
Troy?
In terms of a guy like Marquise Gross-Killebrew, we've seen him kind of progress throughout training camp. What has he brought to the secondary to kind of maybe solidify some areas of need in that unit?
Well, I think, because we lost a good football player in 7. So he's come right in and has brought length and speed. Once again, he's come from programs, Texas A&M, Louisville, which is are outstanding programs. And even if he didn't play every snap, he lined up against really good players. His defensive back coach at A&M GA'd for me at Stanford, so I had a good idea of who he was. And TJ had a good idea whether he would fit. You know, I think that's a big part of the evaluation process. Everybody wants to just see how fast, how much, and this. But the trick, in my humble opinion, it's been like that from when I was first here at Arizona, Texas, and Stanford. It is still the trick in recruiting, in my humble opinion, is the evaluation process of the fit, you know. And it's not about just how fast you run and all those things. So TJ was able to let me know that he'd be a great fit for me and he would fit our room. And he would be able to fit in with the standard of our room as a secondary, and he was right.
Justin?
How's it been transitioning with the tablets and the player or coach-to-player communication?
Yeah, I think we'll be fine. I think it's a little of a unique piece on the defensive side of the ball opposed to the offensive side of the ball. Because, you know, the quarterback can dialogue to everybody, right? The defensive side of the ball, who do you give that one helmet to? Is it Mano, where he has to turn around and talk to the secondary? Is it Gunner that's talking down because, you know, the pieces are still out there? I think that's going to be one of those we're learning as we go on how to manage that piece of the puzzle with the helmet communication. The tablets, I think that's an interesting deal that for a lot of years, people have been able to have to see it on the sideline. So that's a little bit of a cheat drill for some. And I always thought the trick in coaching was to be able to solve the puzzle on Saturday. Anybody can solve it on Sunday. But to be able to make the game day adjustments is really a big part of the profession. I think the tablets do help in that area, that you can see it. Because, you know, some guys can't hit rewind again. You try to cut your eyes up to the box. So, you know, I think we're all learning through that process.
Michael?
Following up on that real quick, have you settled on whether it's going to be Manu or Maldonado at this point?
No, I think what we're doing right now is you can have a number of helmets that are available. So it may be by series. So we have not made a final decision on that, but we've got a handful of candidates, you know, that you can have helmets with, because now if somebody gets hurt, you know, you got to take it off. Somebody runs off the field, you know, do you stop? You can't get the helmet on. There's a lot of gymnastics with all this. So I'm learning it myself to figure it out as we go.
Yeah, unrelated. So you've been in this college football world for a long time. The sport has changed a lot. We're now seeing pretty much every top program has like a front office, has a general manager position. You guys have guys Crowley. How essential and important is that figure in, you know, doing the type of thing that you're talking about, like finding the right fits?
Yeah, it's critical. Because of the transfer portal world, it's critical to see what's out there. It's critical. Recruiting's always, you know, kind of the lifeline to your program. So it's just great having people that can evaluate tape so coaches don't have to look at every single one like we used to. You have a staff that can say, yeah, this guy is not, this guy coaches need to see, so they can weed some of that out. So it's a critical piece of the puzzle, no doubt. And then having communications, somebody can oversee the communication side. And I would say that our people are outstanding, Geiska and Fletch, and you know, that whole room does a great job.
Last question to Justin.
So Danny Gonzalez has repeatedly said that Jacob Manu is the best linebacker in the Big 12. Why do you think that is, and who do you compare him to, just in terms of the players that you could?
Yeah, so I think Jacobs, so I've never, you know, go in areas there because I haven't seen all the linebackers in the Big 12, or I couldn't say that about Stooks or Bobo and all of that. I do think he's an outstanding player, though. He is a model for us in terms of toughness. And the gift he has, the linebacker position, when you get in all that traffic, you know, you got a starting point, but that is just an instinctive position. that they just know. That's why for us, if you notice when we were here, Lance Briggs returned to a linebacker. Marcus Bell, who was I think close to a 2,000-yard rusher, in his high school career, we moved to linebacker. Scooter Sprott, I think at the time, held the Arizona rushing record. We moved to linebacker because they just see the game on the other side. The guy might be going there, but the air is back here. They just have a natural feel of finding where the ball goes. It's very instinctive. Mano's that way. He can just find the ball. The other thing you like about Mano is he's just got a toughness about him. He's got a real toughness about him. And that's kind of the trademark of who we are. The Brett Boyer in those days, downhill, Sean Harris. We were a downhill physical football team. And, I was sharing this with the defense. We ID the Desert Swarm a lot because that's when we came. But I got to credit Larry Smith and his staff because when we got here, this was traditionally a defensive football team with the Ricky Hunleys and the Byron Evans and the Chuck Cecils and all. So when we got here in '87, it was a tradition that we had to continue to uphold. And we felt like that was a big deal for us as a staff, and we felt like we had done that.